Are you with me? Okay, hi, how are you? No. Really? Honest? Okay, we got started late because we had some few technical problems. Like there's some lighting, like the fluorescent lights decided to go out. And also, and perhaps more exciting, this morning, a bird got into my office and I think it's gone. But I'm not quite sure. So if in the middle you hear the camera person screaming, you'll know that the bird is still in the house, okay? So I'm going to start out with a song. I wrote this song. I should have sung this song on Earth Day, but I just didn't think of it. It's a sunny day, I'm on my way. I'm headed out the door. My mom calls from the stairs. Hold it right there. Who left this stuff on the floor? I said, I don't know, Mom, I gotta go. I hope you understand. She said, no, I don't. No, you won't. You better listen to me, young man. Who made this mess? Don't tell me you got here by yourself. Who made this mess? Don't tell me you were left by somebody else. You're the one, you had your fun fooling around with this stuff. The one who plays, that's the one who pays, and I'm not cleaning it up. She always knows if I pick up my clothes. She knows if I make my bed. Well, how she sees it's a mystery to me. She must have eyes in the back of her head. Well, I try to be sly, I try to get by, but there's no getting away. 'Cause if I leave the scene and it's not clean, I'm gonna hear my mother say, who made this mess? Don't tell me you got here by yourself. Who made this mess? Don't tell me you left by somebody else. You're the one who had your fun fooling around with this stuff. The one who plays, that's the one who pays, and I'm not cleaning it up. There's smog in the air, trash everywhere, oil floating out on the bay. You can ask anyone where it comes from, but nobody wants to pay. But I'm telling you, brother, if you make my mother the head of the world today, if we don't keep it clean, she'll get mean. You do not want to hear her say, who made this mess? Don't tell me you got here by yourself. Who made this mess? Don't tell me you were left here by somebody else. No! You're the one, you had your fun fooling around with this stuff. The one who plays, that's the one who pays, and I'm not cleaning it up. I'm telling you, the one who plays, that's the one who pays, and I'm not cleaning it up. That's what I think about that. Probably would be good to have the moms in charge a little bit, the way people are acting around here, don't you think? Yeah. So, let's see. I'm going to tell you a story, then we'll get to some of the news. I've got a bunch of news and stuff. It's great. People wrote me some great things. I'm going to tell you a story that I have told for a long time. Actually, I recorded it on my first recording, which came out. Are you ready for this? How do you like my suspenders? You know why I wear these suspenders? Because they keep my pants up. It's not a fashion statement. Okay, you don't want that. I learned this story. I recorded my first album, Monsters in the Bathroom, in 1984. 84, 94, 2004, 2014, 36 years ago. Jeez. Okay. And I think I first heard it from Doug Littman, although he got it from David Holt, who's a good friend of mine. And David learned it in Thailand. when he was doing State Department tours. David's a great musician and storyteller too. He lives outside of Asheville, and he's a dear friend of mine. And since it's a traditional story from Thailand, and after I started to tell it, I met somebody who lived in Thailand for a while, and they actually had the original. They had recorded a storyteller from Thailand telling this story. It was in Thai, so I don't know how accurate it is. Actually, I know the story is longer than this. I've cut some episodes out. Anyway, this story is called The Freedom Bird. And in this story, there's a little song that kids in Thailand sing when they're making fun of something or running away from something. Are you with me? Because kids have that, right? Like kids in America have a little American folk song. All across the country, kids sing the same thing when they're doing those things, running away from something or making fun of something. You know that American folk song? Okay? Okay, here's the educational part of the show. Here's an American folk song, if you don't know it. Okay, that's the American version. Now in Thailand, kids don't sing that song. Not because they're more polite, but because they have another song they sing which means about the same thing. It goes like this. Okay, try that with me. Here we go. Okay, it's obnoxious. Great. Okay, so every time I do it, you can do it with me. I can't check on you. I can only have faith that you're with me. All right. So once upon a time, there was a hunter, and he hunted with a bow and arrow. And one day he took his quiver of arrows, you know that little thing where you put the arrows in, and his bow, and he went off in the woods. And he got deep in the woods, deeper than he'd ever been before. And when he got way deep in the woods, he heard a song he had never heard in the woods before. It sounded like this. He said, yo, or something like that. He said, sounds like somebody's making fun of me. I better check it out. And he walked through the woods until he came to this tree. He heard something. He looked up, and there in the very top of the tree, in the top branch, he saw a very small golden bird. Most beautiful bird he'd ever seen. Bird looked up at the hunter and said, the hunter looked up and the bird said, how can such a beautiful bird have such an ugly voice? And the bird looked down at the hunter and said, na 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 na. Na, 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 na. The hunter said, oh yeah? He took an arrow out, put it in the bow, pulled back the string. He shot it at the bird, but, and there's always a but in the story, right? The bird saw it coming, hopped to the next branch. The arrow went right by the bird. The bird looked down at the hunter and said, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Oh, I'll show you. Take out another arrow, puts it in the bow, pulls back the string. He shoots it at the bird, but this time, the bird didn't see it. It went right through the heart of the bird. And the bird fell off the branch and fell through the leaves of the tree. And the hunter took a sack and he caught that bird as it fell. And he put that sack over his shoulder and he started to walk home. And he was almost home. Are you with me? When he heard something coming out of that sack. Got home, put down the sack, reached in. Pulled out the bird. Put the bird on the counter there in the kitchen. And then he pulled all the feathers off of it. Pluck, 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 pluck. And he turned away. But as he turned away, he heard burr, 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 burr. Burr, 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 burr. And then I'm sorry to tell you, but it's in the story, I have to. He took a knife and he chopped it in 100 pieces. Chop, 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 chop. And went to put the knife away, but as he put the knife away, he heard chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. And he picked up all of those bird chunks and he put them in a pot of water. He put the pot on the stove and turned the flame up into the pot. And the water got hotter and hotter and finally began to bubble and boil. And the hunter turned away from the bird. But as he turned it from the pot, and as he turned away, he heard ran back over there, grabbed the pot. Ouch! Grabbed some pot holders, grabbed the pot. He ran out in the yard. He got a shovel. He dug a hole there in the yard. And he dumped all the water and the bird chunks into the hole. He filled it back in with dirt. Stomped on it. The camera shook as he stomped. Then he turned around and headed back to the house. And he was almost back inside when he heard. Ran back over there, got the shovel, dug up the hole, took all of those dirty bird chunks, and he put them in a wooden box. And he took the top. He put the top on the box. He took a big stone or a rock. Rock or stone. What's the difference? Isn't language amazing? I don't know for sure. I mean, I could look it up. Stone feels like it's smoother. Some kinds of kids say, oh, a rock is bigger or a stone is bigger. But anyway, whatever it was, it's in your head. You figure it out. He put it up on top of the box. And then he took a long strip of leather, kind of like I always think of like a guitar strap, but it was longer than that. And he tied it around the box and the stone, so he couldn't move the stone from the box. And then he picked up that box, and he walked until he came to the edge of the river, and he threw the box in there, and he watched as it splashed and sunk, and he stood at the edge of the river, and he listened. And he didn't hear a thing. And he walked home. With me. Yeah. That box stayed in the bottom of the river for a couple of days. And the current of the river rushing over the box towards the sea began to push the rock back and forth and back and forth. And the leather was holding the rock on the box. Got wetter and wetter and looser and looser. And one day that rock moved just enough and it fell off the top of the box. And the box, remember, was made of wood. So it floated to the top of the river and started to float downstream towards the sea. And there were some kids playing by that river. And they saw the box float by. And they wondered what was in it. And one of them waded out and she caught the box as it floated by and she brought it back to the shore, to the bank of the river. The other kid said, open it up, open it up. So she put the box down. She knelt down to pull the top of the box off. And when she pulled the top of the box off, 100 golden birds flew out. And they were all singing, na 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 na, na 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 na. A year later, that same hunter was walking through those same woods when he heard a song he thought he had heard before. Na 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 na. Na, 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 na. Oh no, he said he ran through the woods until he came to that same tree he'd been at a year before. And he looked up, and where before now he'd seen only one golden bird, he now saw 100 golden birds. All looking down, all singing at him. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. And the hunter said, what? How can that? Yeah, wait, that's impossible. Last year I shot you, I took you back to the house, I pulled your feathers off. Wait a minute, he said. Now I see. Now I know who you are. I should have known from the beginning. I can't kill you. You're the freedom bird. I can't kill you. And all those birds looked down at the hunter. And they all said, na 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 na. Na 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 na. And that's the story of the freedom bird. And that's from Thailand. You know, I think about that story sometimes, since it's on a recording, sometimes people write to me, and sometimes, I don't know, a lot of times people write to me because they like a story, but sometimes, or a song, but sometimes they write to me because they really don't like it. And when that came out, and sometimes when I tell it, sometimes adults get upset because what happens to the bird. They don't like that. And I think a lot of different things about that. First of all, I mean, some of us are vegetarians and some aren't, but a lot of people hunt for a living or they do something with animals, so that's part of the deal, you know. I think about that. But the other thing I think about the story is that the violence, the stuff that happens to the bird, it doesn't change. It's not useful in the end, which to me is what the story is about. You know, it's what it's really about. So I think it's also important to remember that that's a really common, popular story in Thailand because they're proud of that sense of freedom. So we're not the only people in the world who think about those things, you know. So now couple notes about birthdays. Okay, Rachel Brockman turns 48 today. Rachel, on May 28th, I mean. Hi, Rachel. I hope you're watching. I'm always happy to see your posts there, and I hope I get to see you again sometime out there again. And this is a great note. On May 30th, okay, Annie Van Sicklin lives in Darfield on the South Island of New Zealand. So we've got some folks watching all the way in New Zealand. So she's turning 4. So Annie, happy birthday on your 4th birthday. 4 is such a great age. So Annie's mom is a family doctor, and she's studying, she's working, she's doing a residency for a year in New Zealand, and her dad's a music teacher, and they both grew up near me, and Annie's mom grew up listening to me when she was a kid, and now Annie is too, okay, passing on the curse, and they're coming back. One of their early dates was to see me perform at First Night in Providence in 2009, okay. So anyway, happy birthday, Annie, and when you come back on this side, I hope to see you in a performance sooner rather than later. Johnny Rodriguez is a friend of mine, old friend of mine from South County in Rhode Island, and she's got a birthday on June 2nd. Johnny, happy birthday. And Alton is turning 10. Alton, I don't know where you're from. I don't think you're Alton Chung. Alton's a friend of mine, but not that Alton, because you're turning 10. And so on June 24th. Oh, that's a ways away. Well, we're going to say it now in case we forget, okay? Then I got this great note from Helen Baku, who wrote, do you remember when I did somebody sent in, who was that who sent in the note about the banana chocolate chip cookies? Anyway, and we put the recipe up. She said, I've made those banana chocolate chip cookies twice. They're great. Thank you. So that's really great to hear. Now, I thought I'd do something because I got an email from a teacher, and some of you guys I know you're just about to get out of school. I talked about that with Mrs. Ammons, right? I've got a lot of summer stories that we're going to get to eventually, you know. But I just got this note from Joanne Mitch, and she's a 5th grade teacher in Washington Township, New Jersey. And it just so happened that her class in their remote learning, I love that idea of remote learning. It's like remotely learning. I'm learning from a distance. Anyway, their literature group read 2 of my Charlie Bumpers books, which is great to hear. I'm so glad that you read more than one of them, you know, and because then you get to know the characters a little bit better. There's 7 Charlie Bumpers books, and they said they liked the book, the theme, the character traits, and all that stuff. They had fun talking about the crazy things that happened and relating situations in their own lives. So here's a couple letters. I thought I would just read to you. I'm not going to read all of the letter, but some of the stuff. Ms. Mitch, thank you much. Thank you for encouraging the kids to read the stories. And so you guys in the 5th grade at, what is the name of this school? It's in here someplace. Something Castle. Anyway, we'll get there. Okay, so, dear Mr. Harley, hello, my name is Caleb. I just got done reading your book because I had to. No, I said that. The book I read with my class was Charlie Bumpers and the Perfect Little Turkey. The things I like a lot about the book was how Chip is Charlie's cousin who's visiting for Thanksgiving, got paid back for everything mean he did to Charlie. I felt bad for Charlie. I also enjoyed how Team Bumpers helped out in the end. The thing I would change about this book is I would want readers to find out what happened with the second rocket. I think I'll just leave that alone right there. I'd even forgot there was a second rocket. Okay, here's another one. Dear Mr. Harley, my name is Connor. I just finished writing a book and there's a kid in it named Connor. I am 11 and in the 5th grade I have 2 siblings. I'm sorry to hear that. An older brother and sister. And I'm really sorry to hear that. I also have 3 animals. 2 dogs, Zoe and Cooper, and a cat, Milo. Milo. There's a great, and you should read this book, Connor, you're in 5th grade. The Phantom Toll Booth. The kid in it is named Milo. It's a great book. I like video games. I also like to read funny books. I've read Charlie Bumpers versus the Puny Pirates and Charlie Bumpers versus the Perfect Little Turkey. I like that your books have some funny parts. I also like that the book teaches good lessons. Always important, otherwise the grown-ups won't give it to you to read. I thought it was funny that Charlie says boogers a lot. And I'm going to tell you, Connor, it took us a long time to come up with a word that the grown-ups were not going to be completely upset about. Although, I remember I was in North Carolina and I was at a school and there was a teacher who would not read that word because she thought it was inappropriate. I also like that Chip learns he needs to take responsibility for his actions. If I were to change something in Charlie versus the Perfect Little Turkey, I love this sentence. I would have Charlie flush the Brussels sprouts down the toilet. That would be really funny. Of course. Yes. Now I'm going to tell you something. See, he has put 3 words in one sentence that promises it's going to be funny. The first word is Brussels sprouts, which is not funny all by itself. But when you put it with the word toilet and you put it with the word flush, you don't even have to say anything else. That is the heart of humor. I like your stories because they make me laugh. They're a good distraction with everything going on. No joke, Connor. I have construction going on in my house. What a weird time to have construction. It gets loud reading and is a good distraction. And because of COVID, we can't go anywhere. So I have to read your books. No, he didn't write that. Okay, Connor. All right. And let me see. Was there one more in here? Or are there 2?
2.
There's 2. Oh, she's the camera operator and the director. Hello, my name is Courtney Clemente. I'm 5th grade at Brass Castle School. Kind of wondering, is it a castle? Is it made of brass? Or maybe there's a brass castle near there? I don't know. I enjoyed your books and thought the stories were very funny. A lot of funny things happened. Like a rocket went right through the front door in Charlie's house on Thanksgiving, and how Charlie and his friends kept eating all the candy bars they were supposed to sell. No mention about the second rocket, Courtney. Another thing I like is you have a lot of details in your stories that help us imagine we are in the story. There's only one thing I would change in your story about Perfect Little Turkey. It was not fair that Chip never got in trouble for the things he did to everyone. I would change the story so Charlie and his siblings make sure I think Chip got in trouble. I think I will look for more of your books because I did like them. I would give them 4 out of 5 stars. You've got to save the 5th star for the best book ever written. I don't even know what that is. Maybe I'll write it. Okay, and then we got one more. My name is Olivia. Hi, Olivia. I'm writing to tell you I enjoy reading to you your books about Charlie Bumpers because we had to. No, she didn't say that. I said that. Okay. Both stories were good. Okay. I like how I can relate to Charlie because I, too, have a brother and a sister. I am sorry to hear that. I also like how even though Charlie and his siblings fight a lot, oh, I love this part, they still stick up for each other. My brother once kicked the doctor right in the shins because he gave me a shot and made me cry. That is a brother you want to stick with. When my brother and sister stand up for me, it shows me how much I am loved. And then he can go fight again. That's great. One thing I would change or leave out of the story is Charlie Bumpers versus the Perfect Little Turkey would be the scene where Chip gets sick in Charlie's bed. Yuck! I visualized it. Gross! Okay, so listen, Olivia. I did not describe what it looked like. I could have made it a lot worse. But, what's funny about this is sometimes you're reading something and you don't like it, but it sticks in your head in a way you could never have it before. So you could argue about whether that's good or bad, but for me, the question is to some extent about whether it's memorable. And, Chip throwing up in Charlie's bed, that's pretty memorable. So it's really great to hear from you guys. Now, I want to tell you something. I'm going to take a little break. I don't mean right now. I'm going to finish this show. But I have a lot of things going on in the next week or so. And so I need to take a break for a week, maybe 2. I will let you know when I come back on. I have a book I have to finish editing. And I'm doing some library shows. I have to videotape a bunch of shows. And also, my wife Debbie's mom is coming to live with us. So we have to make a lot of rearrangements in how we live in the next week. Like yesterday, I painted the downstairs bathroom because that's where her mom is going to use. Her mom's going to use that bathroom. So We're trying to make things nice for when she comes. So there's a lot of stuff going on for the next week or so. And plus, I want to think about the stories I'm going to tell next. We've been doing this for 3 months without a break. I promise you I'm going to come back because I have a lot of summer stories. I mean, I have not even gotten to Christy and the high dive yet. And I have not gotten to the King of the Clams. And I have not gotten to Grandma versus the Headless Man, the first time I ever slept out, which happened in the summer. So there is a lot of stuff that I have to tell you about, but we are going to take a break. But I'm concerned about taking a break and how are you going to live without stories. So what I thought I would do is teach you a story that you can tell, all right? Now, I learned this story from my friend Jim May. Jim lives in Woodstock, Illinois. He's an old friend of mine. I met at the National Storytelling Festival just kind of by accident in 1982, and we've seen each other for years and years and years, and he's a really great storyteller. You can check him out, Jim May. And he uses this story, and I asked for him to tell it, and I'm not sure where Jim learned it from somebody else. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so it's a finger story. You got to use your fingers in your hand. So okay, sums up like this. Okay, all right, ready? Here we go. This is Mr. Pickle. This is Mr. Wiggle, and they're best of friends. Okay, they're gonna open their doors and go inside their houses. Close the doors. Okay, Mr. Pickle, Mr. Wiggle. Mr. Pickle and Mr. Wiggle were best of friends. So one day, Mr. Pickle decides he wants to visit Mr. Wiggle because they're best of friends. So he opens the door. Yeah, do that. All of you. All of you. All of you. I won't go on. I will not go on. Open the door for Mr. Pickle. Okay. Much better. No. All of you. Okay. Opens the door. He goes outside, closes the door. He goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, knocks on the door. Nobody answers. Knocks on the door. Nobody answers. Knocks on the door. Nobody answers. Oh. Goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain. Opens the door. Goes back inside and closes the door. Sad. The next day, Mr. Wiggle wants to visit Mr. Pickle because they're best of friends. So, get your thumbs up. Okay. I can see you. Okay, so Mr. Wiggle opens the door, goes outside, closes the door, goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, knocks on the door, nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Oh, goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, opens the door, goes back inside, closes the door. Are you with me? Okay, here we go. Here's the exciting part. The climax of the story is coming. One day, Mr. Pickle decides he wants to visit Mr. Wiggle, and Mr. Wiggle wants to visit Mr. Pickle because they're best of friends. So they open the doors, they go outside, they close the doors, they open the mountain, they open the... Oh! Hello, Mr. Wiggle, hello, Mr. Pickle. They're just about to hug when they remember, oh no. Usually we would hug, but now we can't hug because of everything, but we can see each other. But I have a solution. Wait a minute, let me reach in my pocket. And they reach in their pockets. They reach in their pockets and they put on their masks. Okay? Let me see. And it just so happens they had bought their masks both from the same place. And they're these lovely blue colors of 3M marking tape. Okay, and Mr. Wiggles is Pickles is slightly, Mr. Wiggles slightly. Okay, all right. They go, we would like to hug, but instead they bow to each other, and then they talk. You ready? Here we go. Yada 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 yada. And you can do this as long as you want. Yada 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 yada. And then they would give each other a hug, but they can't because not yet. Not yet. Keep your masks on, will ya? We're not through this. Keep the mask on when you go outside. I'm not kidding. You too, okay? So they do a bow, and they go, see you soon. They go over the mountain, they open the door, they go inside, they close the door, and they're happy because they're best of friends. Okay, one more time. Ready? Give them their masks ready. Okay, this is Mr. Pickle, this is Mr. Wiggle, and they are best of friends. They open the door, they go outside, close the door. One day, Mr. Pickle wants to visit Mr. Wiggle because they're best of friends. So he opens the door, goes inside, closes the door, goes over the mountain, knocks on the door. Nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers.
Oh, goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain. Opens the door, goes back inside, closes the door. The next day, Mr. Yeah, wants to visit Mr. Yeah, because they're best of friends. So he opens the door, goes outside, closes the door, goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, knocks on the door, nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Knocks on the door, nobody answers. Goes over the mountain, over the mountain, over the mountain, opens the door, goes back inside, closes the door. Are you ready? The next day, Mr. Piggle wants to visit Mr. And Mr. wants to visit Mr. because they're best of friends. So they open the door, go outside, close the door, go over the mountain, over the mountain. Oh! Hello, Mr. Piggle. Hello, Mr. Wiggle. They're about to hug, but then they remember, not yet. They put on their masks because they want to be safe and make sure nobody else gets sick. So we're all happy. But then, at a distance of 6 or perhaps 7.5 feet, they talk. You ready? Yada 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 yada. They had not seen each other for so long because they'd been stuck inside. Yada 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 yada. They finished. They said, "We would hug, but we will sometime again." Instead, they bowed to each other and they went over the mountain, opened the doors and went back inside. They closed the door and they were happy because they were best of friends, even if your friends are not near you. They're still your friends. They're waiting to see you. I'm going to finish with one more song, okay? So listen, I do have this webpage. So if I'm not back, I'm going to take 1 week off. I might take 2, depending on how things, but I'll let you know on my Facebook page. And you can find this. You can find all the shows, these dozen shows, or however many I've done. More than that, maybe. On Facebook and also YouTube, so you can go back and look at those. And I'm going to have more stories for you in a week or 2, and I will let you know. Now I'm going to sing a song.
And walking each other home.
Oh, right, walking each other home. Okay, right. So I'm making this video, walking each other home. And you go to my webpage, and you can find a place to listen to the song. And I really want you to send me pictures of you guys. When you listen to the song, think of what picture you want to include with it. Or maybe a little video of you lip syncing to the chorus. We're all just walking each other home. And that's another thing I'll do in the next couple weeks is work on that video. So I got a lot to do. And let me know what's going on with you. Really, I love hearing either on Facebook or send us a note. If you want to donate a couple bucks to this project, that would be great. We'd appreciate that. And this is a song I have sung for a long time. So if you... Wait. Okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Deep down in my heart, deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You know, I recorded this song 30 years or so ago with a bunch of people when we were doing freedom songs. And the person who led the song on the recording is a woman named Betty Mae Fikes. Betty lives in Los Angeles now, but she was from Selma, Alabama. She was one of the freedom singers, the Snick freedom singers. And she sang a couple verses I'd never heard before. One of them was this. I'm not gonna make it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. I'm not gonna make it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. I'm not gonna make it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. We sang this one. We got the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. We've got the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. We got the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I want you guys to keep letting it shine. Make room in your heart for everybody. All right? Let it shine. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other too. Thanks.